Look at this right there. That's the perfect dive.
That was absolutely cutting right there into the water.
What a noise, what a
Unreal.
What a maneuver.
Unbelievable. And a big welcome, everyone, to the vibrant city of Mostar in Bosnia and Herzegovina, home to the historic Stari Most, the old bridge of Mostar, where diving off the bridge has been a tradition for over 400 years. And today, the best divers on the planet continue to embrace this local diving ritual. This is the third stop of the 2021 Red Bull Cliff Diving World Series. Trace Worthington here, glad to have you with us. Next to me, as per usual, Red Bull Cliff Diving expert Joey Zuber. We are live from Mostar. Joey, such an iconic location for the fans and the divers.
Oh, that's right. This is what we call an all-time cliff diving classic. There's over 4 centuries of history of diving from this very bridge. And it's fair to say the locals love their bridge and they love cliff diving. And that energy from the crowd, that really helps the divers rise to the occasion. And we're going to see some serious degree of difficulty in this competition here today, Trace.
No question about it. And the weather's cleared up a little bit. Hopefully it hangs in there. It was downpouring yesterday during the third round of diving. Here's where we've been and here's where we're going. Stop 1 was held back in June at the location of Saint-Raphael, France. That was new. And then stop 2 was an exhibition event in Oslo, Norway. That brings us to here in Bosnia and Herzegovina for stop number 3 off the old bridge. Down Patrick Head Island will host stop number 4. That's also a new location. No better place for the season finale than the heart of European cliff diving, Polignano a Mare. That goes down on September 26th. And Joey, as we get closer to our first diver today in the 4th round, let's get up to speed on what has happened so far in the past couple months.
Yeah, we've had a very, very long break, 2 years in total up until that competition in France. We had absolutely perfect conditions. There's Rhiannon Iffland, who had incidentally won the competition there, off to a flying start. I mean, just look at that. That's what you want. Perfect weather conditions. Gary Hunt, by the way, that man right there, 8 Red Bull Cliff Diving World Series titles to his name. Doing a fine job with the entry there.
Beautiful location.
Isn't it? Oh, there he is, having a bit of fun with the crowd. But actually, yes, I mean, let's talk about this man, Catherine Preda. Actually, this man was the one who won the competition, taking over the lead from Gary Hunt, putting the pressure on him.
And of course, Rhiannon Iffland winning on the women's side. Oslo, Norway was an exhibition event. No points were awarded there, but the fans absolutely loved it.
Oh, they did. And there's Constantin Popovici, one of the crowd favorites there, getting pumped up. One of the largest actual platforms I've seen in a competition so far.
And that brings us to one of the shortest platforms off the old bridge here in Mostar. The divers will say that the bridge itself is one of the strongest competitors itself. No female diver has ever repeated here in Mostar.
No, that's right. So we had 4 different winners at this particular location in Mostar. That was Lassam Richard from Canada, 2016, doing a fine job. And then in 2017, Cecily Carlton from the United States of America, showing off her acrobatic prowess. Down she goes, another rip entry. And then we take it from another nation to another winner. From Mexico, Adriana Imenez, 2018. Look at this, smooth and stylish, the reverse triple.
Nice.
Wow, elegant as always. And then guess what? We go to the next year, 2019. We talk about the Australian powerhouse, Rhiannon Iffland. Check this dive out. Huge scores on this one. And hopefully she's looking to be able to win here again in Mostar.
She hasn't yet repeated, but she's looking good. She's leading after the 3rd round of diving. Let's get up to speed on the current state of diving. There's Rhiannon Iffland getting prepared. But what about Molly Carlson of Canada, the youngster placing 2nd in her debut at the first stop in France, putting a little pressure on the big names.
Yeah, she's sending a message to the rest of the athletes. And also she's coming into this competition with a brand new dive, a front quad somersault that she's working on. But don't forget, Rhiannon Iffland is formidable. And then she's going for 10 straight wins across 3 seasons. So look out for that.
Absolutely huge. So Molly Carlson, there she is. Those new to cliff diving, here's how it works. 8 women and 8 men are permanent divers in 2021. 4 wild card divers will be added at every stop for a total of 24 athletes, Joey.
4 rounds of diving, each of them being judged, and every dive counts. It's only 3 seconds to judge a diver's execution. Now that includes the takeoff from the dive point, then the position in the air, form, and of course trace the all-important water entry.
And critical here in Mostar with the river current. The scoring is simple. Panel of 5 judges scoring between 0 and 10. The low and high scores are scratched. The remaining 3 multiplied by the degree of difficulty equaling the total score. So, of course, Joey, the more flips and twists, the higher the degree of difficulty. Big tricks, what you have to do.
That's right. At every World Series stop, 4 total dives make up the final score. Points are awarded at each stop and added together, which goes towards the World Series standings. And don't forget, the divers can scratch their lowest competition result.
And don't forget, in the end, Joey, they're all chasing one thing, the prestigious King Kong Trophy. That'll be awarded at our last stop in Polignano Amare. And for the first time ever, round 1 took place directly from the bridge, the second and third round from the platforms. And at every event, there are 4 rounds, and all dive scores count, as Joey mentioned, and are added together. So, Joey, let's recap the first 3 dives for the women before their 4th and final round. What went down?
Okay, let's have a look. And we have Molly Carlson, who was first after round 1, scoring 9s and 9.5s. That's how you kick off the competition. Huge scores there. Beautiful elevation, perfect form in the air. She's only been diving for around about, let's say, a year now. So that is remarkable indeed.
She was leading after that first round.
That's right, she was. Okay, but then let's talk about Rhiannon Iffland. So she took over the lead in round 2, straight 9.5s. That's exactly what you expect from Rhiannon Iffland. Perfect pike position in the air. And look at that. Makes it look so easy time and time again. And then we have Jana Nastiarava from Belarus. And then she pushed pretty hard in this dive. This is the optional dive round, maxing out the degree of difficulty, climbing up the ranks from 5th to be sitting in 2nd right now.
How challenging was it for these guys to dive in the rain?
Oh, it was. It was absolutely bucketing down. I mean, it's quite difficult. Sometimes you're standing on the platform, the rain's pouring in your eyes. It's not easy to see the water or the river here, the Neretva River that we're looking at right now.
Yeah, beautiful shot of Bosnia, Mostar and Bosnia and Herzegovina. The judges, our head judge today, Anke Piper of Germany. Olivier Morneau-Ricard is here again. And then you have Ildiko Kelemen of Hungary and Stereo Umechkan of France, excuse me. So he is here, former World Series diver. And then Antonio Martinez, far to the right-hand side, our friend from Mexico. He's also a FINA judge, so a skilled set of judges on hand. 5 of them, and they are sitting right below the bridge down on the left-hand side. 20 degrees Celsius, 68 degrees Fahrenheit. You have the water temp at 28 and 73 degrees Fahrenheit. The river's pretty chilly, though, when you go from that air to the water. Joey will talk about that in a little bit. The winds have calmed down just a bit, but kind of shifting as the day goes on with these dark clouds moving in and out. We hope that the rain holds off for the divers in this 4th and final round. The women will go first, followed by the men. There are 12 total women that will be in this 4th and final round off the old bridge. Jackie Valente has the lowest score after 3 rounds of diving. It's a reverse order, so she will dive first. So you see the running order going down there. You have Ellie Smart of the United States running 7. Addie Imenez, who's won here before, trying to repeat. She's in that running order, going 8th. And then you have Molly Carlson running 9, Jessica Mccauley, and the big guns Nastiarava, and Rhiannon Iffland trying to win 10 straight over 3 seasons and be the first woman to ever repeat a victory here off the old bridge. And the fans have rolled in, Joey, as expected, the most educational group of fans. I mean, they know diving well.
Oh, yeah, they're all experts out there, let me tell you. But it's so good to see such a big crowd to support the athletes here today.
Let's get rocking now with Jackie Valente. She's got a lot of work to do if she wants to pull back up in the ranks. By running first, that means she has the lowest score coming into this round. This 4th round. 18th start on the Red Bull Cliffdiving World Series. Has a gymnastics background.
Incidentally, the hardest dive being performed in this round. Here we go. 4.3 degree of difficulty.
It's a good way to kick off the women's round. High degree of difficulty. And Jackie Valente, that is how you kick things off. The spectators love it, and a high degree of difficulty, as Joey pointed out, to get people fired up.
Oh, yeah. Talk about bravery. 21 meters off the Neretva River, traveling at 71 kilometers per hour.
70 feet off of the river. It's
exactly.
Incredible.
See Jackie Valente, she loves the crowd, loves to absorb the energy. And that's kind of what you need sometimes. You need to get fired up before the dive. So this is a back triple somersault with 2 twists in total. So if you look at the takeoff, we need to use the arms. The arms will swing up. That generates rotation, wrapping to the twist, maybe just a tad too early. Trying to keep the feet together. You have to use your abdominal muscles really hard here to keep the dive turning over. Now they're landing feet first, of course, because they're traveling so fast. Now in the Olympics, they dive head first from a 10-meter platform. So that's double the height of the Olympic high board. Jackie Valente, very brave athlete performing that dive.
5 judges, the high and the lower tossed out, as we mentioned earlier. So keep 2 4s and a 4.5. So her 4th round dive, 53.75. You add that together with the other 3. And there you have it, Jackie Valente to kick things off in this round of women's diving. Again, 12 total divers in this round. Celia Fernandez, the wild card diver, works as an engineer in Barcelona. What she have going on here, Joey?
Okay, be ready to be impressed with Celia Fernandez. I do believe that this is the first time she's ever done this in competition. Again, almost the same degree of difficulty as Jackie Valente, but check this out, a backward arm stand, okay? It's scary enough just standing on the platform on your feet, but she's going to have to use a lot of concentration, get her hand set, steady the nerves, and gently press into the handstand and not overbalance. Very, very difficult. Back arm stand, 2.5 somersaults, 2 twists in total. Big dive.
21 meters, 70 feet off the river in an arm stand. Delivers it nicely. With that current moving, Jackie Valente likes it. What do you think, Joey?
Yeah, that gymnastics background is paying dividends. Look at the reaction from Celia. So that's it. It's a new dive for her. That's why she's so excited, because there's so much nerve, so much tension leading up to the dive. And to make sure you're doing the dive quite well and landing safely. Very, very steady balance. She comes from that gymnastic background. The arms come wide there. That's a trick to make sure you can stop the twist, and that's what you call a Barani. The last part of the dive is a control maneuver. So a front somersault with a half twist so you can see the water right until the last moment. Watch how the legs bend, and that generates rotation. The arms push at the same time, creating that rotation. You need that to complete the twist. The arms come out wide here. Stop, digging hard. And right there, you start to feel the wind picking up, making those split-second judgments at those speeds is so difficult. Very cold water here today, by the way.
The safety divers are the guys in the scuba gear down below doing the great job, and there are the judges. They weigh in. A bunch of 7s across the board.
Oh my God, look at
And again, the high and the low are dropped. She's excited. The difficulty, 4.2, 88.20 on that 4th round dive. So that puts her into 2nd with 255.
Look at the emotion here today. Look, yeah, she's so happy, of course.
Yeah.
And to get those scores, I mean, that's a good score. It takes a long time to get in the groove of high diving. Once you've started to do a new dive, you need to do it quite a few times in competition to dial it in. And for a first time, wow, what an effort.
Okay, the youngest diver here today, male or female, it's Paula Quintero. Earned a permanent diver spot last year. She's from Colombia, and that man is also from Colombia. There is Orlando Duque, Red Bull Cliff Diving ambassador. Mentor to a lot of these divers, so he looks on to Paula Quintero, who he's known for a long time. Paula Quintero with a lot of difficulty on that.
4 somersaults in total, Trace. She was the first woman in the world to do this dive. And talk about work ethic. So she's been training in Utah. There was a high diving training center built there for the summer, and she's been there for 2 months training hard every single day. So she always came with a plan, always ready to work hard. You got to love that about an athlete. So you can just see on the entry in the next replay, I'll explain what happens. So she's throwing forwards, almost like you're throwing a soccer ball to generate rotation, grabbing onto the shins. That's what you call a tuck position when you're in the ball shape, squeezing on, coming out of the dive. And then you can just see here just how the chest is still forwards, and you can see the splash coming off the chest. That's what we call shorter vertical in diving. So that could be stemmed from how hard you throw at the beginning of the dive, how much rotational speed you have, or where you come out the dive. So you need to get everything just right. And it's very, very difficult making those fine adjustments on takeoff. You've got to get the throw absolutely correct.
Bunch of fours across the board, so the judges caught that. She was 13 points shy of hitting the podium at our first stop in San Rafael, France. So the youngster at 21 years old. I don't think she's going anywhere. She's improving day by day.
Hit the podium before in Italy.
Yep. It's going back to the old bridge here. Stari Most, that means the old bridge. Xanthia Panisi, another wild card diver coming at you. 22 years old, only began cliff diving 4 years ago, and that was with Rhiannon Iffland in France. Good person to position yourself with if you want to learn how to cliff dive. Once again, the women's platform, 21 meters, 70 feet off the Neretva River.
You can just see Xanthia blocking through the dive, so that's called visualization. Just in those last checks before you do the dive. So new dive that she did in France for the first time. Relatively new, let's say.
Looks good in the air. Oh, gracefully cutting through the river. Wow. American Andy Jones is like, whoa.
And down goes the Aussie down under with that one,
wow,
huh?
Yeah, there you
Talk
go.
about pulling down the splash there. She's got great entries, big smiles on her face. And look, she's only 22 years of age. She's been working really hard with the head Olympic coach in Brisbane, Australia, 80 Hinchliffe, working with their strength and conditioning programs, making sure their takeoffs are improving, and she's done a good job, nice and strong, squeezing into the pike. That's where the legs are straight against the body. And she knew where the water was on that particular dive. Xanthia Panisi, well done. You see the arms swinging once again, the abdominal muscles working. So flexibility is incredibly important in this sport. So you've got to have power, flexibility, skill sets, aerial awareness. Most of these divers, or high divers, or cliff divers, I should be saying, have had at least, let's say, 8 to 10 years of diving experience before they even make the transition to cliff diving. This is an elite sport.
Right. So a bunch of 8s, a 7.5. She'll drop the 7.5 and keep 8s across the board. So multiply that with the degree of difficulty. 91 on her fourth dive, 282.80. So Xanthia Panisi of Australia is in the #1 spot with that score. Panisi 4 down of 12 as we head to the top now for Antonina Vishapanova. But Greg Louganis looking on, Red Bull Cliff Diving Sports Director and Olympic gold medalist. It's always so great to have Greg. Big time inspiration to pretty much every diver on the planet who's ever even started it.
So graceful. I mean, he was a diver that made it look like he had all the time in the air, especially when he was diving on springboard. Huge elevation. The divers who are the best make it look easy.
Greg said he won the world championships in the rain back in the 80s when he was 18 years old.
Yeah, talk about a mentally tough athlete. He's got some stories, let me tell you.
Okay, here's Vishapanova, the 23-year-old from Ukraine. Only her 7th career start on this Red Bull Cliff Diving World Series. Another difficult dive in the arm stand position, Joey. Kind of repositioning herself a little. Wow. Oh, and a beautiful dive in the air. Love the arm stand position, Joey, and that, explain how difficult that is for these divers to be that high off the water on that platform. 21 meters, 70 feet. I mean, with a moving river below you.
I mean, you're almost, I mean, you're nervous already. You're already shaking from the competition, so you've got to keep your nerves nice and steady in that handstand. She's done a fine job controlling that dive. She spent a long time working in China, so her father's is a cliff diver as well, competed in the Red Bull Cliff Diving World Series as well. So grew up working in high diving shows, so she's got lots of high diving experience. There's the arch leaning forward, trying to grab onto the shins, and sometimes when it's raining really heavy, for example, you don't want to be slipping out of the dive there. So I'm wondering also if there might be a deduction. She did come down on the start of the dive.
Do you have to tell the judges and the officials what dive you're doing? Because she has zeros across the board on this, we're getting word, so she didn't complete a dive.
So I believe she's completed the dive as per requested, but I think what might have happened is that her feet came back down and touched the platform. So when you press up at the handstand, come back down and touch the platform, then it's a 2-point deduction. But if you come back down a second time, then I believe it's a failed dive. Yeah, that's 2 touches. There we go. That was it. 3 in total. No, failed dive. There we go. That's what you call a balk. So that's the technical term for it. Very, very unfortunate. But nonetheless, we pay a lot of respect for even trying that. Antonina Vashivanova, very disappointing for her. I'm very sorry about that for her.
Here's what I call it if you're not feeling comfortable.
It was so beautiful.
A good call.
Yes.
You know, but she is disappointed, and expectedly so, on that dive. So zeros across the board for Vashivanova as we head back to the top of the women's platform. Off the old bridge of Mostar, this third stop of the 2021 season. Here is Iris Smidbauer of Germany. Focus, she's going quick. Oh, puts that one and slices through, and her fiance Chris is on hand. He appreciates it.
A little nod of approval. I mean, not bad.
Yeah,
not
he
bad.
He better.
You know, how's my fiance, huh? And my wife to be.
They're actually getting married here coming up in September in Copenhagen. So congrats. The newlyweds.
Yeah, look, I've got to say with Iris, she's come such a long way. I mean, she doesn't really come from a technical diving background. Probably was only diving for about 4 or 5 years and then got into the sport of cliff diving. So talk about talent and, you know, adaptability. And in 2019, she tried out a new dive, one of the hardest dives in the world. So I really commend her, once again, like all the athletes, for the bravery and for constantly staying with the sport, pushing herself, making sure she's staying in shape and working on her skill sets. Iris Smidbauer, you should be proud of yourself, and so should be the hubby to be.
No question about it. So once again, congratulations to them. And we are getting down to the wire with the women as Iris Smidbauer is number 6 to go of 12. So that dive, 87.75. Add that to the first 3 rounds, 288. So Smidbauer doing a nice job moving into first, putting a little bit more pressure on the divers to come.
Gotta love those smiles, being pleased with the dive, putting all that effort in, and then afterwards there's the payoff. Back to the platform.
Next dive, Ellie Smart. So Ellie's recently built that training facility in Park City, Utah at the Utah Olympic Park, allowing for people in America and other countries to come down. The Canadians were there diving.
Yep.
And really cool to kind of see her grow the sport of diving and high diving, excuse me, and cliff diving through her new facility. What does she have here? There we go, bit of a splash on that one.
All right, it's all about the twist on this dive back. 2 somersaults, 3 twists for Ellie Smart. There's that chilly water in the Neretva River. That wakes you up when you hit it, let me tell you. Oof.
Do you get a brain freeze? You know, like a ice cream brain freeze?
No, but sometimes it's like 40 degrees, super hot out, then you hit the water. It almost feels like your body's hot as soon as you get out of the water.
Right.
See Ellie, let's just talk about the dive here. Just look at the takeoff. So one arm will set to the side, that initiates the twist, coming around there, holding on, holding on. It's a feeling that heavy sensation coming towards gravity. Looks like she just rolled straight into that last part. It's very important to have separation in skills traits. So when you finish one skill, the 2 twists, you've got to put the arms out wide to stop it.
Yep.
But still, Ellie Smart, a very accomplished diver and high diver.
Her top result was here, by the way, back in 2019 off the old bridge, where she placed 2nd. So, like Aldridge, who we'll see on the men's side shortly.
How's yours?
Congratulating her, 297.60 is the roll-up on that. So there's your score, and Smart moves into first place.
Okay.
With 5 to go. Look at that great shot of Mostar, located in the southern area of the country of Bosnia and Herzegovina, situated on the beautiful Neretva River. Mostar, the 5th largest city in the country, located about 2 hours away from Sarajevo. Definitely worth the visit. We go back up, someone who's visited here many times, and that's Ariana Imenez of Mexico, the 36-year-old diver. Today, her 29th start on the World Series, the most starts of any other female in history, and she's the only other female here that can repeat a win. It's just her and Rhiannon Iffland who can do that. No other woman can repeat because they haven't been here before, Joey.
No,
or
very, very accomplished diver.
Yeah.
Great technical diving standard. Reverse triple somersault, here we go. She needs to score above 6s to take the lead in her grasp.
Oh, beautiful.
Yes.
Oh, slicing and dicing through the Neretva River. Imenez going for that win.
Hey ho, she's from Mexico. What a dive.
Wow. Perfectly piercing the water there.
Hear the crowd roaring for that one. They appreciate it.
And ask you what the viewers probably wondering, why the long sleeves?
I'm not quite sure. Bit of style, bit of fashion.
Style?
You know what
Okay.
I'm saying?
All right.
It's all about it.
I can go with the style thing.
Exactly. Look at the elevation. So it's really important to get a good, strong jump. So the judges look for the takeoff, the flight, and the entry. So she comes from a classically trained background. Watch how the knees stay together. Everything is nice and tight, nice and neat. Toes absolutely pointed, spotting the water there for the second time. Kicking out, holding the abs, looking towards the water. And just bending at the waist just to pick up the speed a little bit to try and find the vertical line. Adriana Imenez, that's what you need to do to put the pressure on the divers to come.
Yep.
We don't have too many divers left to finish off the round. Great scores for Adriana Imenez.
8.5s across the board. She'll drop 2 of them. The rest multiplied by the degree of difficulty, 331.95. So Addy Imenez pulls into the #1 spot, and we head down to the hot spot with Michael Frosty Fresh, who's with her now.
Addy, that was an unbelievable dive. Now, you're our most veteran competitor here, more starts than anyone else in the World Series right now. I mean, 3 wins, 10 podiums, and we thought we lost you for a season there, but you're back as a wild card. What inspired this return?
I know, I wasn't expecting to be back again, but you know, life brings surprises, and I'm so happy to be here. Here is a special place for me. It's a magic place, and I appreciate Red Bull Cliffdiving brought me back, and thank you very much. I enjoyed it too much.
I mean, this dive obviously shows you are back with a passion. You absolutely crushed it. How was it coming back here to a place you've won before?
Oh my God, that brought me memories, beautiful memories, inspired me, motivated me. I'm super excited. I'm still nervous, you know.
Well, you've done it now. Amazing job. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, everybody.
All right, great job. Addy Imenez, 331.95. So Addy Imenez with that last round dive. She pulls into the lead. Big thanks to Frosty down there in the hot spot. If you don't know Frosty, famous free runner. Appeared in American Ninja Warrior, a couple TV series, including Survivor. But Addy Imenez now with the top score of 331.95 with 4 remaining on this women's 4th and final round.
Pure emotion here today. Feeling before the dive, very nervous. The feeling after the dive, relief and elation there for Adriana Imenez. Beautiful big crowd. That's what we like to see.
All right.
Return for 2021. Here we go.
22 years old, her first ever appearance on the Red Bull Cliffdiving World Series was in France this past June. She ended up on the podium with that 2nd place finish behind Rhiannon Iffland. She's already put her mark in Mostar by winning that first round of diving a couple days ago, really validating, you know, she was no flash in the pan back in France. I mean, she's the real deal coming at you.
Absolutely not. Here we go. Big DD, same dive as Maria, Paula, Quintero, front 4 somersaults in the tuck position with a half twist.
Oh, wow.
Pushing the limits, going for broke.
Talk about putting pressure on it, Joey. The degree of difficulty was there. To the average viewer who doesn't know the sport well, you see a little bit of a big splash, but nevertheless, what do you think? I mean, this is a new dive for the young Mccauley Carlson.
So impressive, action-packed. I mean, I'm so impressed with the aerial awareness, but there was a little bit of an error at the end of the dive, but the rest of it, the takeoff, the flight was absolutely beautiful. But so much has to go right to get that perfect rip entry. She hasn't been feeling all that well. She had to go on an intravenous drip. She was very, very, very ill a few days ago, so perhaps feeling a little weak. So 1 somersault, 2 somersaults, 3 somersaults, piking out there. And you can just see how the chest is forward. Once again, reiterating in diving terminology, that means short of vertical. So of course the judges will have to deduct for that. The arms will throw forwards, quite close to the platform there, you can see. You feel that light, heavy sensation as you come towards the water, digging deep, but technically, what an impeccable athlete. She's only been diving for around about a year since last August.
Just gonna say that.
And to be able to do this, and she just learned this dive, let's say probably about a month ago at the training camp in Utah, and then to put it into practice, it's still impressive.
I mean, she's 22 years old. I mean, this is a life-changing opportunity for her, placing second just at that first stop as a wild card diver, and boom, just like that, the next decade of her life could be changed because of that one result.
Yeah,
getting on the Red Bull Series.
And all she needs now is just a little bit more experience to fine-tune these dives.
I'm alive.
All right. Little shout out to Mom. Love it. She's in third with a 292.35. So Molly Carlson of Canada right now on the bubble with 3 divers remaining. If you just joined us, we are winding things down. This is the 4th and final round for the women here at stop number 3 of the Red Bull Cliff Diving World Series. Jana Imenez of Mexico with a 331.95 sets the mark with the final 3 divers yet to drop. 297.60 set by Smart. You saw Carlson's dive. Right there, she is in third. So we have Jessica Mccauley, Jana Nastiarava, and the powerful, dominant Rhiannon Iffland diving last. Here's Jessica Mccauley.
Oh, this is getting exciting. As you said, 3 more divers to come. Same divers, Adriana Imenez. It's all about execution right now.
Oh, love it, but in the air was great. But Joey, again, we talk about those heavy landings right now with the pressure, and what do you think?
I mean, I just loved how aggressive she was on the takeoff. She went after it. Actually, you could hear the platform when she took off, this big thud. So that means that she's putting a lot of effort into it. You need to do that. You've got to impress the judges. Also, you need a lot of power to make the dive. Okay, so these athletes spend a lot of time with their physical conditioning, a lot of plyometrics jumping. So watch how she bends nice and deep into the tuck position there. The form is perfect.
Oh, love it.
Kicking out, looking at the toes, and the head comes back. And all it was a slight miscalculation on the entry. She just needed to stand up a little bit earlier. So sometimes if you stay in that little hunch shape, it tends to roll over. So you need to make sure you anticipate and lift it up nice and tight.
What's it like with the moving water? I mean, a lot of the stops that we're at is pretty still, maybe some waves crashing, but this is really moving fast, especially with the rain yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, occasionally you might hit the water and you might corkscrew through the water. But the thing that's kind of funny is that you go underneath the water and then you pop up, you're like 100 meters down the river. You're like, like, hey, where did I go?
All right, Jessica Mccauley, who was third at the first stop of the season and third coming into this final round of diving. So 87, not the score she probably wanted on this one, obviously, but she does move into second.
Yep.
So pushing Carlson off the podium. So does Imenez, Mccauley, and Smart. The top 3 with 2 to dive. So Adi Imenez guaranteed a podium in third place. We'll see if that hangs in there and maybe upgrades to the next level depending on the next 2 divers, but very strong divers. And this, and Jana Nastiarava, the 29-year-old from Belarus.
Oh, this is spicing up here. This is getting hot. So she could move into the lead here. She would need 8s from the judges. She can do it, but it still means she's got to really hit the dive.
She needs a score of 88.60.
Back 3 somersaults. 1 twist in the pike position.
7 podiums, still hasn't won a Red Bull Cliff Diving World Series event. Will today be the day with that dive?
Wow, she's given it her best. She's thrown everything at it with that last round dive here in Mostar today. Oh, Oh, I love seeing the reaction of the divers after it.
3 second-place finishes on the Red Bull Cliff Diving World Series. 7 total podiums when you add up the third-place finishes, but yet still searching for that elusive victory.
Yeah, she's incredibly consistent, never count out. Jana Nastiarava, a very experienced show diver. Spent years performing in shows throughout Europe and China. I'm just going to look at the takeoff here. Once again, this is all about power. So when you're jumping as hard as you can. The knee's a little bit bent there, so a few minor deductions. Now, it's very important that in the pike position, you try and get the chest folded against the legs, just like a pocket knife. So the closer you are, the higher the score from the judges. And then, of course, the entry just rolling by ever so slightly. Question is, what do we think? Here we go.
Now the judges, 5 of them. She'll drop a 6.5 as the low score, 107.5. So 79.80. What does that roll up to? 3rd place for Nastiarava. So coming into this 4th and final round in 2nd, now she gets pushed to 3rd. It is Imenez now in the #1 position, still with 331.95. She is guaranteed silver. Mccauley guaranteed bronze. And Nastiarava now awaits the most dominant female of all time in the sport of cliff diving, Rhiannon Iffland. Going for 10 straight wins across 3 seasons. And again, no woman has repeated here off the old bridge in Mostar.
Okay, this is one of her favorite dives. She always likes doing this dive in the 4th and final round. Getting psyched up, slapping the legs. Take a deep breath, concentrate, think about what you need to do. So the lead is well within her grasp. She had some great rounds in round 1, 2, and 3. Here we go, Rhiannon Iffland, the Australian powerhouse.
19 World Series events of 25 she's won. Win number 20. And Rhiannon Iffland, just as you know her, drills the landing into the Neretva River and will most likely repeat and be the first female to repeat here off the old bridge.
Star was born in Mostar, and down she goes, Rhiannon Iffland. Another stellar performance, absolutely consistent, round after round, does not miss a beat. Wow. Lapping up the crowd, getting pumped. So some of the divers like to do that, just gets you sucked up, gets you in the mood for the competition, spinning in towards the platform. That's where you stand backwards, rotating in towards the platform. She comes from a trampolining background and a diving background. So with trampolining, they land feet first, and that last part of the dive is oh so clean. And I dare say that's because of the trampolining. The combination of the 2 sports makes her the perfect athlete. And she's also worked very hard with the head coach, Adi Hinchliff, and her takeoffs have definitely improved. And she's always a great athlete, but now she's even better this season, 2021. Incredible to see her so consistent. Big hugs. How does she do it? I mean, it's very, very rare. It's seldom you find an athlete like this in any sport that can perform so well and so consistently.
23 podiums out of 25 starts, an impressive winning average. She had a 76% chance of winning coming into this event alone, but
good odds.
I'll tell you what, I mean,
good odds.
It's really good odds, but she has struggled on the bridge. That's why she hasn't repeated that victory. But today, that has all changed. Just waiting for the scores. You have the 5 judges weighing in, and it looks like the incredible, invincible Iffland is the keeper of the old bridge and remains the boss of women's cliff diving. Win number 20 and 10 straight across 3 seasons.
She's blowing the records out of the park. I think she's pushed Gary Hunt aside in a few of the records there. Wow. Sensational. I mean, there's some of the dives in her competition that I thought it might have been worth a 10 as well. So what an event.
There you have it. 385.10 seals the deal for Aussie Rhiannon Iffland. 10 straight over 3 seasons. Addie Imenez, how about that? They're the top two, are the only two that are on the roster today that have won here before off the old bridge. But Jessica Mccauley, another third place finish. So what an impressive round of diving, especially after inclement conditions with the rain yesterday.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that was a tough event. I mean, there was a time where we thought, okay, we might have to hold the event off and talk about mentally tough athletes and just pushing through.
All right, let's send it down to the hot spot with Frosty, who's with the winner, Rhiannon Iffland. Frosty.
Rhiannon, unbelievable, incredible dive. I mean, I don't know what could have been better about it. You've got 20 wins in a row. They're calling you the invincible Iffland. I mean, obviously, you've just got 10 consecutive wins. Where do you go from here?
Wow, oh my gosh. I'm blown away, really. I'm so proud of myself. This is my bread and butter dive, the last one. I always keep it till last because I love it. They mentioned that there might be a chance that I could, you know, have a clean sweep of 10 straight wins in a row, and now I've done it. I guess it's time to think about different dives and, yeah, just mix it up a little bit.
Well, after this, I mean, do you start to feel comfortable up there on the podium? I mean, do you set up shop? Is that your place, or do you start to feel the pressure after so many wins in a row?
You know what? I think after so many wins in a row, you get to like the pressure. You know, I'm trying to use it as extra energy and, you know, take it all in. But yeah, up there, never feel completely comfortable. There's always those nerves, always the pressure on your shoulders. So yeah, it never goes away, but I get to like it.
Well, we appreciate you bearing that pressure because it is amazing to watch. Thanks for another incredible showing here.
Thank you so much. Cheers.
20 career wins for Rhiannon Iffland and 10 straight across 3 seasons. Like you said, I mean,
And how many starts is that in total? What have we got?
I mean, she's had 25 events. I mean, it's pretty crazy. She has had, yeah, 25. This is her 25th event, Joey. So let's lead up to that moment of victory throughout all 4 dives.
Yeah, that dive we just watched there was actually directly off the bridge, so getting back to the roots of the sport. So round 1 for everybody, straight off the bridge. Now we got back to the platform. This is the intermediate dive round, so you're stepping up the degree of difficulty between the easy dive and the really hard dives. Impeccable, close to a 10 in my opinion with that particular dive. Oh, a little bit of boogie going on.
Yeah, yeah.
Here's the wind,
Oh, yeah,
diving in the rain, and this is the hardest dive in the world. Talk about a sensational performance. Judges loving it. And mentally strong to be able to handle the pressure, diving from the platform, also dealing with the very, very difficult weather. And here it is, the woman of the hour, the woman of the day, taking her second win here in Mostar, Bosnia and Herzegovina. Rhiannon Iffland, that was a well-deserved win.
And that's
hands down
how you get it done.
Where's the camera?
So quick podium now. Flower ceremony of Jessica Mccauley, formerly of the UK, now diving for Canada. Gets back-to-back third place finishes, and Addie Imenez celebrating silver here today.
How's that for a competition?
Yeah.
2-year break, come back as a wild card, get on the podium. She had great memories here in Mostar in the past, and has obviously used that to push her forward to get onto the podium. Well done.
Rock solid for sure. See the invincible Iffland with career win number 20 and the first woman to repeat a victory here off the old bridge in Mostar. And what happens 2 times usually happens 3, Joey.
Those trophies not too big this year. They'll be able to travel home with them. We've seen some pretty impressive looking trophies in the past, and those ladies should be so proud of themselves.
Well, they did fly in on the Red Bull DC6, so maybe they'll,
Yeah.
you know,
Bit of a flight back home on it as well,
Could
huh?
use that.
Here we go.
Well, no doubt Rhiannon Iffland right now with that win in the second straight of this season, 400 points. So Mccauley now in second with her 2 third-place finishes. Molly Carlson with that first event placing second holds her into a great spot in third. Ellie Smart in fourth, and you see it rounds out to 14 for the women. The men are coming up soon. Stay tuned. Getting ready for the men. Catalin Peretta, the current World Series leader, has turned it up a notch this season. So let's learn more about the rock star looking Romanian.
That he is?
Yeah.
Pretty cool dude.
30 years old, and I'm from Romania. Mostar is where it all started for me in 2018. Doing the dive really well in the competition just skyrocketed me onto the podium straight away on my first appearance on the Red Bull Cliffdiving World Series. It's such a great memory. France is another really dear place. It's really close to my heart. It's where I got my first win. Winning makes you thirsty. Winning, you have to crave it. You have to be hungry for it and go for it. Aim as high as you can. And there's no better feeling than winning. For sure, I can tell you that it's something that I'd like to experience more. Absolutely.
All right. Great insight, and of course, air awareness is critical no matter what bridge, cliff, or surface, Joey, an athlete takes off from.
That's right, so we've got a new segment. We're going to call it Methods of Motion, and we're going to explain aerial awareness and how the divers understand where they are in the air. Sergio Guzman, a back quad somersault. Now watch his head here quickly. Flicks and he stops, and he's able to get a spot on the water. So the divers want to start to count the somersault. The one common thing that's always going to be there is the water. So you want to make sure you count the water every time you go past it to orientate yourself. If you don't see the water, then you could run into trouble and potentially slip out at the wrong time. Kicking out here, this is the 4th time he sees the water. That is the relieving moment, let me tell you, because you hope you've got it right at that point. And these dives carry a bonus because you do see the water later than you would with the front rotating dive. So 4 rotations in total. Continuing the motion here, and we'll just have a quick look at the entry line for another topic here. And you can just see the chest is slightly forward. There's an angle there in comparison to the legs, and what the judges are looking for, of course, is being as vertical as possible through the water. That's being pretty picky. Still a very, very nice dive. So orientation is key in this sport.
It's a great visual. And the old bridge, the crowd hangs in there. The weather is hanging in there. An incredible women's competition. But now it's time to shift to the men's 4th and final round off the old bridge. Joey, take us through the first 3 rounds of diving.
Catalin Peretta diving directly from the bridge. No platform whatsoever. An inward flying somersault, what you call a blind entry. So you can't really see the water until the end. So watch this. He flies, sees the water, pikes over, and then he's blind. And what a dive. Gary Hunt, this is 2nd round dive. And then with this particular dive, he slides into 2nd place. So Catalin Peretta had the lead after round 1 and 2. So Gary Hunt making sure he keeps him well within his sights. He doesn't want him too far away, that's for sure, because he knows he's hot behind his heels with his win the very first tour stop in France. And here comes the rain, and here comes Alexei Prigorov with a running takeoff, pouring down the hardest dive in the world. Front quad somersault with 2.5 twists in total. And with that massive DD, he screams up the leaderboard from 10th right up into 2nd place. And he's got a complete surprise look on his face.
You don't want to slip up on that platform. It's 27 meters, 90 feet above the water. The men are ready to rock. It kicks off with Stephen LoBue with the lowest score after 3 rounds. It is reverse order. So you see all the names right there. Catalin Peretta, who won the first stop, he dives number 6. Gamino, who had a great first event in France. He's in the house, but you have now the top guns in the top 5. Popovici, De Rossi, Fedotov, Prigorov, who we just watched do that running takeoff. And then, of course, Gary Hunt in a very familiar position. Number 1 after 3 rounds, and he will dive last as we take a look at the beautiful city of Mostar. And a reminder that this men's platform, 27 meters, 90 feet above the water. We'll kick it off with Steve LoBue. And this is the first of 4 World Series events left in his outstanding and notable diving career. He'll call it a wrap after the final event in this 2021 season. He hasn't competed in 702 days, but he looks good in training, and he's having a lot of fun here in his, in his last season.
Yeah, so he is playing it a little safer this year, but I do respect that. So he just had a baby boy not all that long ago. Maybe it was about a month ago or so. So he's got 2 kids now, and normally he would be performing quint somersault. What does quint mean? 5 somersaults, but played safe, but that's okay.
Such a great ambassador for the sport. It's going to sad to see him go from the tour.
Here we go.
Series.
27 meters high now, 90 feet up. Back 3 somersaults, 3 twists.
So LoBue not bad to kick things off for the men. The Spin Master in his 64th start on the World Series. Again, having fun here on his last season victory lap.
Such a technical diver, and when I say he's taking it easy, that's still a very, very, very difficult dive. Big kiss to everybody. And you called him the Spin Master, and like I was saying before, being able to do 5 somersaults, that means you need to be able to rotate very, very, very quickly. So I spent a long time diving in the college program there, so he has excellent technique. Very, very, very powerful. So look how high he has to come off the platform. Watch how the feet are overlapping there. So that's a little trick to stop the feet splitting apart. So normally when you're rotating and twisting, those legs just want to fly apart. So you need a lot of groin strength to hold everything together. And speaking of groin strength, right there in the entry, one of the most common injuries is the legs want to pull apart on the entry. So you've got to get your leg strength up. Steve LoBue.
85.10. A reminder, all 4 scores, all 4 dives added together, 320.80.
Sorry, I'm not complaining about that.
Oh, what a
we
character.
didn't think you were complaining, Steve. You're all good. You're all good with us, buddy. Well, back to the top now, second diver. There's 13 men in this round. Slavik Kolesnikov, the wild card diver, 39 years old from Ukraine. Well, they began cliff diving in the year of 2017. Joe, you were talking about his diving style being very distinct. Sort of other countries are very distinct as we look at the safety divers doing a great job in the Neretva River, which we'll talk about in a minute because it's not easy being in there.
No, it's not. It's a little cold.
But the diving style, get back to that.
Yeah, we can go into a little bit more detail after the dive. Here we have a dive where he has to spin in towards the platform. He's going to come very close to the platform here. Watch carefully.
Well, a lot going on there. Look at that. Whoa, disappears into the Neretva River.
Wow. Hey, that's my line.
Oh, yeah. You go ahead and say it.
Okay, I'm going to call it disappearing act. How about it? I'll take that one. You got that one. You cool with that?
That was an amazing dive.
What a dive. So you can actually tell the style between different nations. So Ukraine, let's say Russia and Mexico. So the Mexicans, for example, when they do their tuck position, when they're in that ball shape, the knees are together. Now here his legs will be split apart a little bit more, but just particularly the way that he'll control the variety and he'll move. When he does his pike dives, which is where the legs are straight folded against his body, there is no air between his legs and his body whatsoever. So they're very, very proud about their pike positions, the Ukrainians in general.
Those new to cliff diving, wide feet first. Let's get that out of the way.
It's pretty high.
Yeah.
It's 85 kilometers per hour upon impact, 10 G-forces. You're taking a trip to the hospital. That is almost 3 times the height of the Olympic high board that we just saw in the Olympics.
And the height scores are displayed by the 5 judges. Look at that, a couple 9s in the house, and you have Kolesnikov with a 114.40 on that dive. You add that together with the first 3, 356.90. So not bad for the diver of Ukraine.
Not bad.
Not bad at all.
Brilliant.
Not bad at all.
Great scores.
Easy for me to say. I'm in a commentary booth, not going into the river.
Yeah, we're not the ones doing it. It's easy for us to criticize, and oof, not much to criticize on that particular dive. How's the hairdo? Looking good.
Coulter, yeah, no, he's rocking the hair.
Yeah.
You got to talk about the hair. Because it's, I was talking to him about it earlier. So his girlfriend Rena got him all lined up with some better hair care products, some better shampoo and conditioner, some leave-in conditioner.
That's right.
Before he came to Mostar.
It gets a little poofy sometimes.
Oh, good. It gets a little poofy. See if it gets in the way. But David Coulter, one of the most decorated and experienced divers of all time. Number 3 of 13 here in the men's 4th and final round from the USA.
Good friends with Steve LoBue. Another diver has absolutely superb technique with his twists. Staying calm, staying focused.
That's how you get it done right there from the United States. It is Colturi in his fourth and final dive.
Gotta love that sound when they hit the water. You hear that crack. So we call it a rip entry. Sounds like you're tearing cloth or tearing a piece of paper as you cut through the water. It's really important you get the feet really flat to make sure you make a hole for your body to pass through the water. We'll get that in the slow motion replay. We'll talk about that. So you can see David Colturi visualizing his dives. So visualization is an incredibly important part of the sport. You have to see it in your mind. Some people use motivational music to make sure you get in the mood. With the little swirly coming out of the twist there.
That was just the hair.
Maybe
talking about the body line?
Maybe it was.
Okay.
Let's just talk about the hair getting into the twist. Reaching the arms up into the twist, comes out of the twist, has to come back into a different shape. So look a little wobbly there. You can see his hips starting to turn a tad too early, but that's okay. Let's look at the feet. The feet will start flattening out just before the water. So the same thing in diving head first. They grab their hands and make their hands flat. So you've got to make a hole so you can make a tube for your body to pass through. So if your feet were pointed, you wouldn't have that rip entry, a nice clean splash. That's very important to have flat feet right there. Boom, they turn. There he is making the hole through the water, getting it nice and clean through the water.
One of the 8 permanent divers named to this 2021 World Series. Colturi with a 117.30 on that. So he'll move into the #1 spot with a grand total of 366. Colturi, 3 to go of 13. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at redbullcliffdiving. And of course the Facebook page. Subscribe to the Red Bull Cliff Diving YouTube channel. Check out all the cool photos, videos, and much more, and obviously amazing visuals here from Mostar. Back to the top now, Mikael Navratil. Bit taller guy, 77th career start on the Red Bull Cliff Diving World Series, second most career starts behind Gary Hunt, so packed with experience. The only other diver along with Hunt to be a permanent diver since the very first season of the World Series.
What a stat. Talk about consistency.
Supratil. Oh, you could hear. Whoa! That's how you get it done. I was just listening to his audio right there. I mean, he was making some noise when he left the platform, Joey.
Absolutely. So sometimes in the dives, you hear them working because there's different stages of the dive. You have to come out of one maneuver into another. You'll hear the divers take breaths. Blake Aldridge, you hear these big breaths between the skills. So he's throwing here, the abs are working hard, and he'll make a noise there, and then he digs hard there as well. So there's 2 main stages where they have to work really hard and use those abdominal muscles. He's pretty ripped, huh? He hasn't got an ounce of body fat on him. Also a stunt performer, does a lot of commercial work and stunts for movies as well.
Not bad for a self-taught diver.
No. And once again, some of these divers come from a gymnastics background, and he was almost self-taught, had a little bit of diving experience, but he's one of those guys who just picked it up. And high diving really, or cliff diving really suited him. So, as you said, he's one of the veterans in the series. He's so consistent with the entry. That's one of the things that most of the divers struggle with, is how do you get to that vertical point? How do you slice through the water? How do you get the rip entry? Comes with experience, and some of them have just got the feeling as well.
Cool shot by our camera crew, and they do such a nice job, and it is not easy in this river to be one of the photographers or safety divers. A 107 on that. You add that together with the first 3, and Navratil, the experienced diver, in second place behind David Colturi. Supratil always brings a smile to everybody's face.
Oh, look at that crowd. That's what we missed, huh? That's what we missed over the last 2 years.
Yeah, you're right. There's no question about that. And the fans love diving off the old bridge, a local tradition for years. Here he is, Blake Aldridge, the 39-year-old Brit.
Do you know what I love? That bathing suit.
It was a good budgie smuggler.
It's got a couple of little rubber duckies on it.
Blake competed in the Beijing Olympic Summer Games back in 2008 with synchro partner Tom Daly, who just won gold in Tokyo. They placed 8th back in Beijing.
Comes from a great background. Doesn't waste too much time in the platform.
Will he get the coveted trophy today? Big Rick Blake dropping into the Neretva River.
It's all about twisting action with that particular dive. He's the first person in the world to do a reverse 2 somersaults with 5 twists. Plenty of energy, plenty of slapping the water. So you must feel good about it. So sometimes when you hit the water, you know you've done a good dive. You can actually hear the water tearing past your ears. Look how many twists that is coming out at just the right spot. You come out of the twist looking at the platform too. That's pretty spooky. So sometimes when you're coming out of the dives, you see all kinds of different things in front of you and behind you. So the first time you dive somewhere can be a little disorientating. So the arms wrap across, holding on there, holding on to the right moment. Coming out right here, that's 3.5 twists. And then that last maneuver, the Burani, the trampoline maneuver, makes it the somersault with a half twist. So in total,
you ever get
4
dizzy?
twists.
You ever get dizzy in the air? I mean,
You
those new to cliff diving, I mean, that's what you're probably thinking.
If you do like a front 3.5, for example, on 3 minutes, and you haven't done it for a while, your ears need to adjust. And so you need to do it over and over so you feel more comfortable and don't get dizzy. The score's for Blake Aldridge.
Aldridge, 8s across the board in his 60th career start on the World Series. So we have a 110.40 for Aldridge. And moves into 2nd place with that score.
Whoa.
He's looking
extremely relieved. It's been a very, very long time since he's actually done a cliff dive.
Look at that shot right there. The bridge dating back to the 16th century, originally built in 1557 by the Ottomans. Took 9 years to complete the bridge. Catalin Peretta, the winner of the first stop of the series in France. He's our current series leader. He's going to need something big here if he wants to claw his way back to that podium. Needs a full tank of gas in the difficulty tank on this dive, Joey, to get back up, because we have some big names on tap.
First person in the world to do this particular dive at this very location. 5.1 degree of difficulty. Back 4 somersaults with 2 twists in the pike position.
Tied for the highest degree of difficulty in this round. Right there you have it.
Yes, yes, yes. I do like it. I do like it.
Well, that pulled one back in there. It's only Alexei Prigorov who has the same degree of difficulty, but this is what we're talking about right here. The big stuff being broken out in the 4th round.
He needed that. We were talking to him today at lunch, actually. He was a bit disappointed with his round 3 dive. He was talking about how he came out of the dive too early, and then when he was coming toward the water, he was running out of room. But that just comes with experience. And we're talking about it, you know, with Gary Hunt. I mean, he's got so many years of experience behind him. But technically, this guy is superb. His takeoff, the way he twists, the way he moves in the air, little fine-tuning on the entries. But this guy can definitely, and has pushed Gary Hunt, of course, winning the first event in France, holding on to the pike position there, holding on again, coming around for the 3 somersaults, still opening so early. I can't believe he opens that early. What does that mean? It means his takeoff was incredibly high, and he's got a lot of rotational speed, so his fitness and his strength and his flexibility is first class.
During the COVID downtime, got hooked on enduro motorbiking during 2020. Look at that. He's got a couple 9s. Judges keep a pair of 8.5s for 132.60, but a high degree of difficulty brings him into first with 393.10, pushing David Colturi to 2nd, and Blake Aldridge now in 3rd.
So the interesting thing is he just was slightly over on the entry, but his takeoff and his flight was so good. That's why he got the good scores there. So well done, Catalin.
This is what's great about the old bridge. People watching from their apartments and all the great businesses around, all the terraces.
Hey, there's our coffee shop.
Hey, that's where you ate.
That's where we...
Oh yeah, we had a cappuccino there earlier.
That was our last commentary booth, by the way.
Look at this. This is great, though. People watching and enjoying. It is a tradition here off the old bridge in Mostar to embrace diving, and the locals even dive every day for money, for show, for fun, all kinds of great stuff as we head back to the top now for Mr. Andy Jones from the United States. Santa Monica, California is where he resides, 36 years old, 51st start on the World Series. He was 6th in France. Andy Jones delivers a big dive here in the 4th round. Whoa! Under pressure, Andy Jones.
The all-round athlete. The one thing you can say about Andy Jones, that guy can smell the water at every point of the dive. He's so consistent. Look how hard he has to actually jump off the platform to get the rotation going. See how his arms wrap across the chest? That's typical of a gymnastic style. So each diver will have different styles in the air, where they place their arms and so forth. But he's doing very, very well in the stunt industry at the moment. He could have been a pro baseball player, could have been a pro freestyle skier. Didn't have all that much diving experience. It just shows you how talented this guy is. Worked in Cirque du Soleil as well. Andy Jones showing us how it's done in the Neretva River. Oh, great scores.
1:16.10.
Right when you took off, I went,
There's his buddies, David Coulturi, Steve LoBue. Congratulate him. So Jones moves into second, though, behind Preda. So Preda still leads the charge in command with a 3:93.10. Now Jones in second, Coulturi in third. People chilling out on the warm-up diving platform right down there below the bridge. As we go to Carlos Gamino, the wildcard diver. Huge result, placing fourth at the series opener in San Rafael, France.
Yep.
Really kind of showing big promise coming out of the gate strong.
He turned up at the competition and did 2 new dives that has never been performed in the history of the Red Bull Cliff Diving World Series. And here, check this one out. Arm stand, cut through. So reverse, he's going to press in the handstand, he's going to rotate back towards the platform. This is wild. Watch this.
27 meters, 90 feet off the river. Oh! A little bit of a rough go on the landing, Joey, but you have to appreciate the degree of difficulty and absolutely going for broke here in the 4th and final round, which is what you need to do.
He did.
You want to get on that podium.
You got to push it all. You got to roll the dice and see how you go. But when you do maximum degree of difficulty, and of course comes with a little bit of risk. But you can see the arms come up there. That's the air brake. So that means he needed to make his arms, his body longer to slow the dive down. Watch his head here. You'll see the water there. 1, coming around, orientating himself. 2, coming around, orientating himself there, looking back. And watch the arms here. Watch carefully. Arms above the head. He's slowing it down. And he has to get the arms back down, because if you leave the arms above the head, you'll get a maximum score of 4.5 from the judges. So he put the air brakes on, did a great job making sure he didn't over-rotate too much. If he did not put his arms above his head, he would have landed way over.
And he didn't have,
have
a parachute.
No, he did not.
He did not have a
There was
parachute.
no
That would have
actual
helped. That would have helped.
You're right, Trace. This is why you're here.
It's the only diver ever to have complete 4 arm stand dives in one event. That was in San Rafael, France. So remember his name, because he's already kind of breaking ground in the diving community, even with that entry right there not being par. So Gamino not on the podium today. It is Preda, Jones, and Coulturi, the top 3 at the moment. As we head back down to the top, with 5 divers left. Constantin Popovici, such a strong diver. Defending Mostar champion from 2019, 3rd at this season's first stop in France. And when he was here last time, Joey, perfect Popovici, 5.10s in his final round dive back in 2019.
Equaling Gary as well on that record.
It's Catalin Preda looking on.
Fellow Romanian, the Romanian powerhouse team. Inward 4 somersaults in the pike position. Again, rotating in towards the platform. He'll be very close to the platform here. Watch his feet, how close it will be. Through the water. How was the sound?
I didn't hear it.
You didn't hear it?
It was just, there was nothing.
Are you deaf? What's wrong with you?
I mean, usually splashes go up. The splash actually went down.
It was almost like to
the bottom of the river.
Almost like a vacuum, with all the energy, with all the power he needs, squeezing into that pike position. And look how early he comes out of the dive to slow it down. Eyes honing in on the water, honing in on his sights. He wants to get back on the podium badly. Whoa. Wow, it's almost like a vacuum sucking down into the water. Watch his feet, how close it is. Watch how close, watch how close. Right there, we're talking just centimeters from the platform for Constantin Popovici.
Popovici breaks the 400 mark, folks, 401.20. So that ought to put him in a great position, as Popovici will look on. 4 more remaining. So he's got his work cut out for him, but he is used to the 10s here. And Mostar, there's a pair of them right there. He'll drop one of them, keep one of them, drop a 9.5 for a huge score, and we'll send it down to the hot spot with Frosty, who's with Popovici.
Costa, an incredible dive up there, nearly perfect. I mean, you following up a perfect 10 dive here last time. What is it about this spot that connects with you so much?
Well, it's a beautiful place. I love it. The river is smooth. When you get the dive right, you know, it's perfect. So for me, that's how it is.
Well, you're obviously showing us how it is done here. I mean, you're coming hot off a win in Oslo. Are you doing anything special in your training? Because you're just turning up the heat here.
Well, I'm training all the time. You know, I'm planning. This year is a bit difficult with, you know, changing so much. But yeah, I'm constantly training. So yeah, that's the secret.
All right, constantly training, Constantine. I love it. Well, thank you so much. Incredible job. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Frosty. And that is the 135th 10 awarded in the Red Bull Cliff Diving World Series since its beginning in 2009, Joey. So
consistent and constant.
Yeah,
Huh?
yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
The Neretva River still flowing hard after the rain yesterday, as the men's competition heating up nicely with 4 remaining, and Alessandro De Rossi is the first of those 4, 29 years old. The first wild card male ever to win a World Series. That was in Italy 2017. Only other male to do that was Catalin Peretta at the first stop of this season in France. And we're gonna have the final stop in the Puglia region and his area, and Polignano Amare will be the final stop of the series. So expect the crowd to be rocking for De Rossi there, as always.
Speaking of rocking, here's a rock star, Alessandro De Rossi. Okay. Sometimes you'll see the divers just guiding the scuba divers. Okay sign to the judges, making sure everyone's ready.
How nervous are you up there?
Extremely.
Really?
Oh, yes.
I can imagine. I had a hard time walking across the bridge. Oh, strong in the air there, huh? De Rossi showing you why he earned his permanent diver position back for 2021.
These last round dives are starting to heat up. Alessandro De Rossi also passing the baton on. He's starting to coach the up-and-coming athletes in Italy, sharing his experience with them. God, he's in great physical shape this year. He's really serious about his training, and I do think in the future he'll start to step up the degree of difficulty, because it is high amongst the top contenders. 2.5 twists into the pike position. The third somersault is right there, and more or less vertical for the judges. And you'll also be able to see a spray as he comes around into the water entry. So the athletes need to be able to see the surface of the water. Alessandro De Rossi, how will he fare in this particular competition? You can see him stretching the dive out. And right there, you can see that splash in the left-hand corner of the screen, just to help give a little bit of turbulence to help the diver see the water. Great scores. So
108 on that, 385.50. So De Rossi in third, who I'm sure is looking forward to the final stop in Italy. The fans will be going nuts, but it is Popovici and Peretta, the Romanians, holding down the top 2 spots right now. De Rossi in third. Jones bumped off the podium. He's in fourth. 3 to go in Fedotov, Prigorov, and Gary Hunt. So who was your call, Joey? We had a lot of inclement weather yesterday with the rain. Now it's dried up. It was supposed to be raining right now. It's not. So thank you, Mother Nature.
Yeah.
But who can shine in these conditions in the 4th and final round?
So Nikita Fedotov doesn't have particularly high degree of difficulty, but the last 2 divers after him will be Alexei Prigorov and Gary Hunt, who both have huge degree of difficulty. So I dare say it might be a battle between those guys.
Fedotov with a 4.3 degree of difficulty. The safety divers, we thank them, doing a great job. Prigorov, though, a 5.1 degree of difficulty coming up next. So Fedotov.
How was that? Wow.
Fedotov, the 26-year-old Russian, in his 8th career start on the Red Bull Cliff Diving World Series.
Just to put it in perspective, he would need 9.5 from all judges to be able to take the lead, and he is not far off with that dive. Speaking of style, he's got Russian style, let me tell you. Powerful. Watch the legs, how they get a bit of space up here. Boom. Pushes off the platform to get all that rotation. And I love his toe point. It's really important to see that toe point when they curl over and arch. Everything from the fingertips as well. I mean, the Russians are very particular about their hands. So
he did more arm pumps on the takeoff. Is that normal?
Yeah, I mean, everyone has their own kind of nuance and their own style as well. But the Russians in particular, Artem Surchenko talked about how his coach would whack his hands to make sure his hands and his thumbs were always in line. Don't want your fingertips spread. Good straight line in the twist. It's really important to make sure the head is in line with the rest of the body. Spent a lot of time working in China. He's also the husband of Antonina Vashivanova. He's competing at this very competition as well, so keeping it in the family. But here's
there are
the
your
scores.
nines.
What are we going to get?
You said 9.5 is what he needed. He only got one of them, and that was from Olivier Morneau Ricard, and 1:16.10. So Fedotov breaks up the Romanian sweep and moves into second, splitting Popovici and Preda. So the Romanian, Fedotov, part of the Romanian sandwich right now, in second with 2 to go in Alexei Prigorov and Gary Hunt.
And Fedotov, I mean, he's podiumed here before as well. I think at his first event, so wow.
So Popovici guaranteed a podium.
27 meters, 90 feet up in the air, 85 kilometers per hour upon impact. It's the equivalent of an 8-story high-rise. 2 more divers to come.
Here's the guy who did the running start in the rain. It was incredible yesterday in the 3rd round. The Olympic bronze medalist from Beijing 2018 in the 3-meter springboard synchro event, Alexei Prigorov, 34 years old. The judges down below, led by Anka Piper, the head judge. And did he do, so this is a 5.1 degree of difficulty, Joe.
Degree of difficulties on his side, but he needs execution. He's got to get 8s. Needs 8s.
Here he goes. Off the bridge. Once you go, there's no going back. And that is a little bit heavy on the landing. Those who have watched the sport, Joey, I've seen enough. Is that going to cut it and get him into the top 3?
Incredible. Oh, so impressive. Being able to do that many somersaults and that many twists, but yes, maybe the entry has let him down on this particular dive. His 3rd round dive was absolutely sensational, but a slight miscalculation, but it's so easy to do that, as I said before. You've only got around about 2.8 seconds in the air to make all those adjustments. Just put his feet in front of the dive. Now, for a tall diver, he does such a good job to get the rotation going. The taller you are, the harder it is to generate rotation because you have a bigger radius. You're spinning slower, which means he's very, very powerful, means he's incredibly strong. He's an Olympic diver, an Olympic medalist. And watching here, the Briny, let's just watch what happens. And I do believe he put his feet in front just a little bit too much, which caused him to kind of roll through the water. So it's very important you snap up and lift the chest right at the very end.
And that water's what, about 5 meters, 17 feet in that range in the Neretva River? You got to be on it right there.
Yes.
It comes up quick.
Yes,
Bob.
it does. So just needs to keep the arms a little wider to square it off a little bit. But still, Alexei Prigorov making some incredible improvements here in Mostar, Bosnia and Herzegovina. The scores, there you have it.
Yo, high degree of difficulty, but low scores. We'll see if that adds up and rolls up. It does not. So Prigorov, who was on the podium yesterday after the 3rd round, is now pushed outside, and he is in 5th, which means Popovici, now the leader, guaranteed silver at worst. Fedotov on the podium, no worse than 3rd. So does Catalin Preda, the winner of the first stop and current World Series leader, in 3rd on the bubble. And you don't want to be on the bubble when this next guy steps up to the plate, and that of Gary Hunt, turned 37 during the first stop in France, where he placed 2nd behind Catalin Preda from the UK after all these years, but now representing France, the 8-time Red Bull Cliff Diving World Series champion. It's Greg Louganis, Olympic champion, looking on. Final diver, we'll see what Gary Hunt can put together.
He's got to hold his nerve here. Still needs to get high scores. He's got to get 8s, 7 halves.
Wow.
Oh.
So.
Oh, he salutes him. Take the hat off. There you go, Gary Hunt.
The Neretva River just got a little bit warmer because Gary Hunt is on fire.
That he is. I mean, he badly wanted to win here. We've got a short season, so the result is very, very important here in Mostar for Gary Hunt.
It's great to see Catalin Freda, though, putting some pressure on him in France because he knew he had to come here and deliver something big.
And it's so hard being the last person standing on the platform, and you know everybody's watching you, eagerly awaiting to see how you're going to perform the dive. He kept his cool, but let me tell you, he almost over-rotated more than that. So here's a triple twist, comes out the triple twist pike, and watch the briny. He's straight. Whew, he held on to that. So when you're feeling fast in the dive, it's very important you keep the body as long as possible to make sure you put the brakes on. Feet overlapping. You can see a bit of a split in the legs there, only minuscule. Maybe the judges
It's just hard to find mistakes in Hunt.
Yeah,
I mean, I see you kind of
stretch.
You know, you're digging deep right now, but yeah, that is uncharacteristic. If you've covered as many events as you and I have, to see that, just that little splash coming up, the judges aren't used to seeing that.
What a legend, though. Hasn't missed one single Red Bull cliff diving competition, and every year he seems to be working harder. Physically, he looks like he's in great shape. He was talking to us, and he's got his own personal trainer at the moment to get him in shape for the season, and in shape the scores are.
39 Red Bull Cliff Diving World Series victories. Ladies and gents, make it 40. Gary Hunt with a 132.30 will earn victory at number 40 and number 3 here off the old bridge in Mostar.
Bravo, bravo. Fellow Brit. Well, he's not a Brit anymore. He's a fabulous Frenchman. Oh, God, he must be relieved, huh? You know what I mean? Because he knows he's like, oh, I just got beat in the first round. There you have it, the standings.
So Gary Hunt wins off the old bridge of Mostar for the 3rd time in his career, but for the first time representing the French flag. Gary Hunt does it once again, 40th career victory on the World Series, his 68th podium. Unbelievable. Popovici in 3rd, and Fedotov doing a great job getting on that podium, placing 3rd today.
Another one, another 3rd place.
And there you go, rounds out the top 13 on the men's side. So Gary Hunt and Rhiannon Iffland winning here in Mostar, and Gary Hunt is with Frosty down on the hot spot. Frosty.
Gary, I mean, you are the epitome of consistency when it comes to winning this event. Your 40th career win here at the Red Bull Cliff Diving World Series. How do you keep it going?
I love what I do. I guess that's it. I love diving and I love competing, and each year it gets harder and harder, and that pushes me to work harder and harder.
Well, you obviously must love this place. I saw you during training doing a huge gainer off of the building over here. I mean, we've had 6 events in this beautiful location. You've won 3 of them. Is there something special about this place to you?
I can tell you it didn't come quickly. It's tough. This event, I've had ups and downs. It's not been somewhere that I've just won every time. It's really tough, but over the years I'm getting to learn how to deal with the current and the cold water, and of course the welcoming we get here is amazing.
Well, now you've got a win under your belt for the 2021 season. How are you looking at the overall World Series? I know that you let Catalin have one of these. What are your eyes for the rest of this one?
I can't think about what anyone else is going to do. I'm just going to try and stay consistent, keep up in those 9s, maybe even in the 10s in the next one, and we'll see how the others work and how the fight goes.
All right, I love that competitive nature. What do you got in mind for Ireland? How are you feeling about it right now?
I think I'm going to bring a warm jacket and prepare for the worst, but who knows, we might get lucky.
Yeah, well, we definitely got lucky here today. You smashed it. Thank you so much. Well done.
Thanks a lot.
Joey, a location that has presented triumph and turbulence he talked about over the past few years, and it hasn't been easy. It's been challenging for all the divers, but Gary Hunt gets it done today, all 4 dives.
That's right. So after this dive, that was diving directly from the bridge just to get back to the roots of the sport, who's sitting in 3rd place after that particular dive, so not too far behind the ranks. Nice front double somersault. So again, very, very, very consistent. And then with this particular dive, this is the intermediate dive round, and then he slides back up into second, keeping Preda in his sights. Preda was in first position at that particular point. Little kiss to the crowd, rotating in towards the dive. The masterpiece, the technician, Rembrandt, eat your heart out. He is a piece of art.
If you were going to pick one thing, obviously experience is one of them, but the one thing that solidifies his success.
His work ethic and raw talent. Bit like Rhiannon Iffland, it is so rare when you find someone like that. I mean, he just understands what to do in the air. He has this great sense of knowing what to do. Like at the beginning of the dive, he might understand if he's a little bit too slow. He knows how to adjust that and experience. The other thing too is every year, like I said before, he keeps working hard. He doesn't let the pedal off the gas, ever. And that's the other thing too. You cannot beat work ethic. You talk about Michael Jordan and those, you know, in the basketball world, that guy worked as hard as he possibly could. Here's the fourth round dive where he sealed the deal yet again.
That rain was crazy yesterday. He prevailed through that, and right here, you mentioned Jordan. That was like a perfectly switched basketball right there on his last dive. And now, the award ceremony for the men. You have Fedotov on the right-hand side, getting third place, and Popovici hoisting up his trophy.
I like how he tapped the first place on the podium there. He's saying, hey, hey, I'm still there.
Oh, yeah.
I'll find that again one day.
We know that. But it is hard to contend with the Frenchman, Gary Hunt. 40 career victories.
Talk about a humble guy as well. Stays cool, stays calm, gracious in defeat, gracious when he wins.
Driest sense of humor. He's so funny.
Like, very clever.
On his Instagram page, he's very clever.
Yeah, he studied forensic science. He's a great mathematician. Speaks Russian now, speaks Spanish. Gary Hunt, the man of the day. Constantin Popovici keeping his sights close on him as well.
None of these guys could have been standing up on this podium, nor the women, if it wasn't for the crew behind the scenes with the weather yesterday and everything that went along with it in the river, and Dino and his team here in Mostar, Joey, just once again delivering the biggest and best event of the season. It really was outstanding.
Stellar, accommodating, great support.
So Gary Hunt, now representing the French flag, wins gold here in Mostar, the third time that he has been successful off the old bridge. Catalin Peretta in second, so he did a great job clawing his way back up and getting that podium position and helping his overall points. But it is Constantin Popovici, the other Romanian, in third. You see rounding out the top 8, Grigorov, who had a great day coming into this event from yesterday's third round, is in 8th. And you see the Americans in Quintero and LoBue rounding out the top 16. An incredible men's competition here in Mostar off the old bridge.
Resuming commentary with next stop from Highland.
Well, from the old bridge here in Mostar, the series heads north down Patrick Head, Ireland for stop number 4. It's a 3.5-hour drive west of Dublin, located on the scenic north coast of County Mayo, near the village of Ballycastle. And this is the third time the World Series has descended upon Irish soil, or in this case, water. We had events in downtown Dublin, the city, thousands of fans. Another location was the picturesque Serpent's Lair in the Aran Islands. So down Patrick Head, a new location for the World Series, and pressure will be on the divers with the series and closing in as a chance for valuable points is running thin. Tune in September 4th. Check out redbullcliffdiving.com for all the details. What do you think of this event here? Third stop.
It's always incredible to be back in Mostar. It never fails to be a spectacular competition.
And that's a wrap from the iconic Stari Most. The old bridge of Mostar and stop number 3 of the 2021 Red Bull Cliff Diving World Series. We'll see you next time, September 12th from down Patrick Head, Ireland.